Hi everybody and welcome to my biz training. Today we'll be talking about wholesale customer versus wellness advocate. All right, I know there's a bit of confusion around what the difference is, okay? So I like to start with a quote. She needed a hero, so that's what she became. I really love this about stepping into leadership or our business hat or whatever that happens to be at the moment for us, or becoming experts at placements. All right, so wellness advocate versus wholesale customer. You'll see purple and green is how they show up in your back office or your graphical tree, okay? And I'm going to work through the comparison that doTERRA provided us, and you'll see the link there below if you want to find that PDF online to look at it in full. But I've chopped it up into a few pieces just to break it up for us today. So as you'll see here, both wholesale customer and wellness advocate give people purchasing eligibility to all the following things, all right? So the enrollment fee is exactly the same. It is $35 or a qualifying enrollment kit. $25 with a complimentary oil is the renewal fee. And so for any of you that don't know that at the moment, you pay a $25 renewal fee and we get a free peppermint, which is worth $26.50 in Australia, okay? The product discount as a wholesale customer or wellness advocate is 25% off retail pricing. So we're buying exactly the same price. A wholesale customer also has the ability to access the loyalty rewards program, which is a key difference between this and the old program, which is preferred member, all right? They are able to access fast track percentage by buying a larger kit like the Nature Solutions or the oil sharing kit. Okay, so that elevates them to 15 or 20% straight away. They still get shipping rewards points. So for any of you that don't know, when you purchase something at this point in time, we have fixed rate shipping at $7.95. We get 8 points back. And to give you an idea of how good that value is, if you redeem the 8 points for a toothpaste, that is worth $10.25. You're actually making money out of your shipping. Okay. They are eligible for product promotions, okay? So the product of the month, so if they do a LRP over 125 PV, they can access the free product of the month, which this month is Claricalm. They're able to access the 200 PV promotions. They are able to access any promotions that are available via purchasing, okay? They're also eligible for the initial enrollment promotion. So if that happens to be a points-based promotion, or in this case, the example is if you enroll with a 100 PV order, you get Cheer and Motivate free. Okay, so those come up from time to time. So they are all accessible via the wholesale customer option. Okay, so we'll skip to the next page and you'll see that this is where we start seeing some changes. Okay, and this is crucially around anything that is involving enrolling or downline or earning commissions. So to give you a bit of background, the reason why wholesale customer was created in its infancy was to give people an option where they're not earning any commissions or compensation. And this is partly because as a wellness advocate and as somebody that has the ability to earn compensation from doTERRA, we are considered in a way an employee, and we must be careful about the type of health claims and ensuring that we are compliant, all right? So whether we earn 1 cent or 100,000 a month as a presidential diamond, we are still bound by being compliant by doTERRA's terms and conditions, okay? Whereas as a wholesale customer, we're not able to earn any compensation, so therefore doTERRA is not liable for what they say. Right, so therefore they cannot take part in any enrollment promotions. So for example, the Jasmine and Rose Lemon Myrtle promotion or the incentive trips, they cannot qualify those because they're all based on enrollments. They are not able to have a personal website because again, that is for selling retail product or having people enroll with them online. So therefore they don't have that. They cannot have a downline of any type. So they can't earn uni level off people you place underneath them because you cannot place people underneath them. The SHARE program is a US program, but again, it highlights the fact that they cannot enroll. They have no requirement to provide any tax information because they can't earn any money. But from an upline perspective, you place them exactly the same way you would anyone else. So you can put them wherever you like on the end of any lines. You just can't place people underneath them, okay? I'm going to show you this a little bit later in a demonstration. Okay, so we're moving to the next section of this, and you'll see I've put a big red arrow, but I'm going to come back to that. But inactive moves are the same. So for any of you that don't know, after 6 months, if somebody is inactive, you are able to get them to email placements and you can move them under a new enroller and or sponsor, okay? So again, talk to your upline for any help with that. You are able to give their enrollment. So you can hand this enrollment over to somebody and potentially hand it back if the company approves, okay? Duplicate accounts are not allowed for wellness advocates or wholesale customers. Each person or marriage couple can own one wholesale customer or wellness advocate account only. Fast Start is exactly the same. It's paid out for the first 60 days to the enroller tree. Unilevel is paid out to the sponsor tree after the first 60 days. Power of 3, so we can use wholesale customers to qualify uplines for Power of 3, which is something I'm going to look at in a minute. As far as the terms and conditions, so I touched on that before, the wholesale customer terms and conditions are simplified, okay? Again, because they are not eligible to earn commission, so therefore they're not having to agree to some of those terms and conditions. They're not able to resell product, and also their mydoterra.com experience is slightly different, okay? So they don't have all that business stuff in the background. They just have access to a shop tab, a messenger center, and a profile setting, right? So it's a much more simplified back office for them. Now I'm going to go back to that nice big red arrow up the top where it talks about enroller moves. So if we look at the purple section for wellness advocates, which are people that can earn money, they get one initial 14-day sponsor move. Okay, so we enroll them on day 1 and we initially place them somewhere, and we have up to 14 days to place them in their final position. And that might mean that we've done a wellness check-in with them to discuss how they're going to use their oils, maybe help them set up LRP, and potentially discuss whether they're interested in building, living, sharing the oils, okay? And that can give us a little bit of a guide as to where they're going to sit in our organisation. Now, the cool thing about wellness wholesale customer as opposed to wellness advocate is that not only do we get that initial 14-day sponsor move, okay, so we enroll them as a wholesale customer, we place them somewhere when we enroll them, and then we still get the option to give them a second move within that 14 days. But the really cool thing is that and this is what typically happens in doTERRA, people use the oils, love the oils, and then they decide do they want to share or build. Okay, so day 1 they enroll, you do a wellness consult with them when they get their oils at day 10 and they're not interested in building, but they want to do LRP and they're loving the oils. So you just place them somewhere. And then 91 days down the track, they come back to you and go, Sarah, I'm loving these oils. I've been talking to my mum about them. I've been talking to my friend about them, and I want to host some classes. I want to share. Or I've decided that I want to add this to my business and I want to build a business. So at that point, you're able to go into their back office and click the upgrade to wellness advocate button, and they immediately pop up in your back office and you get another 14-day sponsor move, okay? So the enroller gets another 14-day sponsor move, provided they upgrade after 90 days. Okay, so that's a very clear thing. It has to be after 90 days. So make sure you don't get that confused with before. Okay, so I'm going to show you what this looks like and how this can be used to give you a little bit more flexibility in the way you're building your business, okay? And again, these are hypothetical examples. Clearly, our trees never look like the hypothetical examples, and I urge you to always discuss your placements in the upline if you're not sure. And again, this is my interpretation. But again, discuss your individual circumstances with your upline. Okay, now you'll see here I've got some purple wellness advocates and some green wholesale customers. Now, obviously, this is a really simple look at a tree, but this could potentially be a building towards silver or premier. Obviously, there's got to be a lot more people in there than that. But what I want to highlight to you is that we've got 2 builders that are purple. And let's just assume for this situation that all those purple people are your personally enrolled. And I've built this tree with power of 3 in mind, okay? So assuming, again, that those 3 purple wellness advocates on your front line are placing their 100 PV order, so you get power of 3. And then they've built it as well, and you've filled in a few with personal enrolment. So you'll see I've got PE on 2 of them. So you've placed some personal enrolments under those purples, okay, again, to build power of 3. And I really do like the option of doing this with a wholesale customer. All right, so let's just say this personal enrolment that you placed under your builder, and I think this is a delicate issue and you have to be very mindful of respecting your builders' organisations when you do this. But if you've placed a wholesale customer in your builder's organisation and you've had a conversation with them that you would like to keep the opportunity to move them to another position if they choose to wake up and build, obviously that's a conversation you best have with your builders, because you don't want to move someone and then upset your builder, existing one. Okay, so that's obviously a key conversation you need to be having with your leaders, but you have the opportunity to get a 14-day sponsor move for this personal enrolment if they decide to upgrade after 90 days. Okay, so let's have a few of these, play out a few of these options. Okay, so if the wholesale customer upgrades to a wellness advocate after 90 days, we get a second sponsor move anywhere in your enroller tree. So we're assuming this is your personal enrolment, so we're able to move them somewhere different within your organisation. So option 1 is to leave them where they are. Okay, so that's you just don't move them, they just stay there. They upgrade, so they've gone from being green to purple, and now they can actually enrol people underneath them. Okay, so that's the first option, and that's pretty simple. The second option is to move them to a new position. All right, so that might be that you're currently a premier looking to go silver, so this person turns up so you can frontline them. My personal opinion is that if I'm going to move someone to my front line, I want to qualify them as actually being a builder and not a sharer before I do that. So probably what I would do is ask them to wait before they press that upgrade button, book in some classes with them and see how that goes before I actually make my final decision. And the awesome thing is you get that opportunity to do that. So just don't press the button until there's actually an enrolment to be processed. And if you can cluster those together, using the launch guide to sort of launch them to elite maybe, that gives you that opportunity to make a really informed decision before you make that final placement choice. So moving them to a new position might look like this, just front lining them. 1 second. Okay, sorry guys, I got interrupted by the cleaner coming in to service my room. I thought while I was locked in a hotel room for a few days, I could actually get uninterrupted, but clearly not. Anyway, so sorry if I repeat myself, but basically, you can move them to a new position. Obviously, it's fantastic if you can qualify people before you move them to important real estate like your front line. But again, I urge you to actually wait before you upgrade them till you actually run the classes or see whether anyone even turns up, because it allows you that ability to make an informed choice once something's actually happened rather than presuming something's going to happen. Okay, option 3 is move them to a new placeholder position by using a transfer form. Okay, so they've already upgraded here. And again, you could wait until you've actually hosted the class to see if that's happened. And it allows you to move them into this placeholder position by doing a transfer. Okay, so you can do this with brand new wellness advocates or with wholesale customers that upgrade to Wellness Advocate. So you can move them to a new placeholder position by using a transfer form. This must be done via the placements committee, okay? And again, discuss these specific questions with your upline. And again, if let's just assume that this position they're going into is an elite position that you've built. You can actually have them sign another transfer form out and put some caveats on that. So that might be one that you expect them to place a minimum 100-point LRP every month. Clearly that's a minimum requirement of a builder, particularly if they're getting put into a power of 3 elite position. Secondly, it might be that they commit to rank advancing to a certain rank within a certain period of time, and if they don't do that, they give you the option to move them. And again, it's just giving you that security that when you give them an important position in your business, that they are upholding the things that they've promised to bring to the table. And again, I think the key to me is, I'm going to touch on this in a little bit, is that when we upgrade someone to a wholesale advocate, wellness advocate, they're saying they want to be in business with you. I think it is reasonable to have some expectations, as you would if you're going into any other business, all right? I'm going to touch on that in a minute. Okay, so that gives you a few options of how you can move them. There's one other thing I wanted to touch on that Rosie Neary actually touched on the other day. So this is our Empower Kit, and I'm sure you're all familiar with this because this is what we use to run our classes. And we've got the class outline, and then we've got the kit page, and this, the new ones have the option for wholesale customer or wellness advocate agreement. Okay, and on the back of those, if you're filling out a wellness advocate agreement, it's actually got some terms and conditions. And to be honest with you, I have never really read these. But what I want to point out to you, and I guess this is interesting when we analyse the notion of stacking and building deep and putting people under people that they haven't actually agreed to. And I think Leonie always makes a great point of always considering our customers and respecting what they want. When we create wellness advocates that are not asking to be in the business, they probably haven't really agreed to these terms and conditions. And one that I really want to highlight is this one. Okay, under the obligations and representations, it says that I will train and motivate the wellness advocates in my downline marketing organisation. And, I think whilst we must respect people's lives and whatever else, at the end of the day, when you're an upline to someone, you do have a responsibility to them, to educate them. And it actually talks about this, that I, further down in it, that you will actually use doTERRA. I agree to present the doTERRA compensation plan and doTERRA products and services as set forth in the official doTERRA literature and presentation. So again, it's reminding us that as wellness advocates, we have a responsibility to our downline. That's not taking away their responsibilities, of course, and I'm the biggest advocate of that. But I like that this actually spells it out. So to me, if we're bringing people into our business as wholesale customers and then giving them the opportunity to upgrade to be a wellness advocate, it is a perfect time to actually discuss some of these obligations. And again, it's not to scare them off, but I think, the more we have these conversations early on, the less room for grey area there is, because at the end of the day, we want people in our business that do step up and take care of their downline. And even if they're only a sponsor, they still have an obligation to their downline. All right. So and it also becomes critical because the reason why the wholesale customer exists is so that they can have a more simplified terms and conditions. All right. Okay, so that's basically it. And again, I urge you to discuss it with your uplines, but I really wanted to clarify some of the information because I find some people are not quite sure what it means and are a bit scared of the wholesale customer, but ultimately any wholesale customer can become a wellness advocate anytime, but it gives us that option of, one, allowing them the freedom of just being a customer without any obligations of building, and then they elect that, and then we can have crucial conversations at that time. So I really like it for that reason. Okay, have a great day, guys.